2016 brought us some of the best updates ever to GTA Online, including the Finance and Felony DLC, Cunning Stunts, Bikers, Import, Export. All of these will change the way GTA Online is played, really up until to this day, 2025. So welcome back guys to the channel and the series where we're looking at every single GTA Online update released for the 12th anniversary of GTA Online, 12 years later. And yeah, the biggest things about 2016, 100% import-export DLC in my top 3 DLCs of all time. It is just Grand Theft Auto put into a DLC, going, stealing cars, making big money. It also brought some of the best vehicles of all time in GTA Online, especially for the time. They had this weird thing with this DLC that not many people remember, but every single vehicle that was released was basically #1 in its category. And it was only until the next update where they nerfed all of the vehicles, which is so weird. They added the new Bugatti, the Trofeo Nero and Nero Custom, which this is a time where they were doing the custom vehicles, kind of like Benny's, but for supercars, the custom variants. Kind of like how HSW is nowadays. The Nero Custom was basically improved Nero. The Cunning Stunts DLC. This brought record new number of players playing races and stunt races. It gave the racing community new ways to customize their own tracks with the stunt prompts. The Finance and Felony DLC. This was really the first ever business in GTA Online. Adding the Maze Bank Tower for purchase. This was a massive thing in 2016 when they released the Maze Bank Tower. Finally, we could own it. But also, supercars, sports cars, amazing vehicles. Really, all of these DLCs added very, very good vehicles. And they felt fresh. Nowadays, they kind of reuse content from each one of these DLCs, new DLCs, but these ones, they felt fresh, and still, even to this day, they're some of the best businesses ever. Even in terms of making money, import-export, many people don't know, but they now added the bonus payout for public session sales of the vehicle, so you could earn 50% more money than you did before. So let's take a look at the first DLC that released in 2016, the January 2016 update. Yeah, that's all the name, aka the Drop Zone update that the Drop Zone adversary mode. It also added the new Bravado Banshee 900R and the Karen Sultan RS. Both of these vehicles being pretty decent in top speed and lap time, but never #1 in its class. So they're pretty cool vehicles. Legacy vehicles too, the Banshee and Sultan, OG vehicles in the GTA series, so that was kind of nice. But the biggest thing about this DLC was the Drop Zone adversary mode, which was actually very good. I mean, again, nowadays, people like to talk down at adversary modes, but give it a try. It is so much fun, especially if you find a full session. The biggest problem nowadays is that you never find a full session. And that's why it's not that fun with only 4 people, 2 on each team. Really, when adversary modes were still new, 2015, 2016, even 2017. It was really, really fun, especially with full sessions, insane payouts, $300,000 sometimes you could get just by completing one game. So really good adversary mode here, one of the best ones. And that's probably why they put it in its own DLC. The yearly Be My Valentine DLC released on February 10th, 2016. This adding the Albany Roosevelt Valor and Albany Roosevelt. The Valor kind of being a little upgraded version, high class version, more customization options. And this was one of the rare vehicles that can have people standing on the side of it. Really fits the theme of the Be My Valentine update. It also re-added all the items from the Valentine's Day Massacre special from 2015. The Till Death Do Us Part adversary mode released on February 12th, 2 days after the actual release. The Gunsberg Sweeper was the new weapon added, and there was over 120 clothing items and 24 new outfits. And you guys know all the outfits they had, the underwear outfits on male and female characters. Everyone running around with these even still to this day. And look, at the start of 2016, they didn't really have drip-fed content still too much. At the beginning of 2016, they were doing events. In March, they had the Versus Mission event where you had double money, lots of discounts. They had the Friends in High Places event week, which gave double money on contact missions for Ron, Simeon, Trevor, Lester, all of the main mission givers. And this was still a time where updates paid out how they should. It still paid out the faster you complete it, the better you complete, the more money you get. You didn't have to wait 30 minutes in the mission just to get the full payout. You guys will remember a lot of videos about how to make the most money possible, and it's just someone saying in the mission for 30 minutes. It was never really the best way to make money, but everyone kind of went with it for some random reason. But still, back then, missions were a very, very good way of making money. Especially double money. So the Valentine's Day update, pretty nice seasonal content. But then on March 15th, 2016, the Lowriders Custom Classics update releases a part 2 to the Lowriders DLC. Only the second DLC to ever have 2 real parts to it. They don't do that nowadays. This added 7 new vehicles. The Virgil Classic Custom, Slam Van Custom, the Faction Custom Donk, a Tornado Custom, Minivan Custom, and Saber Turbo Custom, which that vehicle, top of the muscle car class. Even in races, it was kind of bouncy, so it was pretty tricky to drive, especially as the streets, but in stunt races, it was a very, very good vehicle to use for stunt races. Sitting at the top of the class for some time too. 2 new weapons, the compact rifle and the double barrel shotgun. 160 clothing items, 24 outfits, 16 new tattoos, 3 player actions, the finger kiss piece and U Loco action. And adversary modes, we got Sumo, Inch by Inch, and In and Out. Again, 3 amazing adversary modes. Sumo, everyone on YouTube did this back in the day. They made custom Sumo game modes on top of the Maze Bank Arena, on the Maze Bank Tower, in the pier. But now this is official Sumo wrestling mode Rockstar added. It was so fun. Rockstar involved in the community, adding game modes. Everyone made themselves, but now we have an official one. And taking a look at the events here, they had some pretty solid events. They had the Criminal Expansion Weekend, some adversary modes, time trials, where double money is on time trials. They don't even do this nowadays, do they? In and Out. High Life Week, that was a themed DLC for a week. High Life Week. What else? They had the Elgato Games Week, another DLC, double money for a whole week. Lowriders Custom Classic Week when the DLC released. So the last DLC, you can now, and look what they did. The next DLC is massive. The next DLC, Finance Felony, on June 3rd, they made the Criminal Expansion Weekend. Sale on yachts, sports cars, supercars. They knew what they were doing with that hint. And now, one of the biggest DLCs still ever in GTA Online. The Further Adventures in Finance and Felony update released June 7th, 2016. This was the first ever update to add businesses. Pure businesses you could go grind out in free mode. This was a huge thing with this DLC. A lot of people were surprised. It's actually free mode missions. And this was when you had to do it in free mode. You could go into invite only session and do these missions. It was only free mode. Again, adding a second life to free mode, kind of. A lot of more action going on now. Especially when you're grinding and someone comes to blow you up with a jet. But you guys know how it is. They added the ability to become a CEO and start up a criminal organization and hire associates. And then you can start up your special cargo business. But first, you have to have a CEO warehouse. This is basically an apartment, but for your organization. And you guys know what most people went for? The cheapest option. But the second most popular option, the Maze Bank Tower. Yeah, finally we could own it. This was so amazing and so much fun. Everyone wanted it. It was of course, what, $5 million it was? For the most expensive options? Everyone wanted it. Rockstar knew they could price it however much they want. People will still buy it, including myself. But it was just so good to see them add this finally. In GTA Online, we could add the Maze Bank Tower to our properties. We got 14 new vehicles. And look, the first ever Jet-Fed content vehicles. The X80 prototype, Fister 811, and 770. The first ever Jet-Fed vehicles. This is where it starts, guys. The 11 vehicles on day 1 were the Better Factor, XLS, and XLS Armored, the Rumpo Custom, the Nimbus Personal Jet, the Tugboat returning from GTA 4, a new helicopter Windsor drop, Bestia GTS, actually very good car, very good sports car right there. The Brigade, Pegasi Reaper, based on the Lamborghini Huracan, and the Vapid FMJ. These two right here, Very good cars. I don't think any one of these were the number one in this class, but they were very, very competitive, especially for the time they were added. This was still this was probably number 4 in this class, but you could still win races with it multiple times. Like, it was very competitive, even if it's at number 4. And 2 of the best looking ones, dude. The Reaper, kind of classic looking, but FMJ, very, very unique. Still even, we don't have many vehicles that look like this. Including the X80 prototype. You guys know how popular this car was. Everyone calling the Zentorno the Batmobile, they would not know the X80 hitting next year. Batmobile 2.0. Bring back the YouTube videos, how to make the Batmobile in GTA Online. Black this thing out. There's a meme that says, if you see someone driving this car, they're probably low level. It's so true. Every single person would drive this car. Everyone in races would use this car, even in 2020 when this car was 10th, 15th in the category, not good anymore. People would still use it because they just remember it for being at the top of his class for years straight when it was added in 2016. And to be fair, it was a very good vehicle, but man, just one of the most popular vehicles in GTA Online of all time, the X80 prototype. The Pfister A11, still, it's a little competitive with the X80 Proto. Top speed, I think, was number 1, but the handling was not there at all. So that's why you kind of don't remember the A811 anymore, even though it was at number 1 for some time. And the Dubache 770, a sports car, very unique, Aston Martin, 007 reference. There are over 200 clothing items and 19 outfits in this DLC. And you can now purchase the Cargo Bob. Now before this, you could never actually purchase the Cargo Bob. Many people might have forgotten about that. It was only added in this DLC. Before that, there was a glitch to buy the Cargo Bob, but not many people did it. You have to actually go to the airport and steal it yourself. Or even better, the military base. The CEO organization business behind this DLC is the Special Crate warehouse. And this made insane money. $2.5 million for the full warehouse, 100%. You could buy 3 of the warehouses, doing them back to back. The missions were fun. They didn't even feel repetitive because even if it was the same mission layout, they had it in multiple different locations as well. And they had rare items you could find. So if you got the rare items, you get a secret statue on the desk as well as inside the warehouse. And if you complete 1,000 deliveries, you unlock the secret golden statue on your office desk. This took me 10, well, okay, not 10 years, that's even a bit 20. It took me 5-6 years to complete this. Now, a lot of people did get it faster, but I'm more casual playstyle. It took me 6 years to get this one statue, yeah. Talk about dedication. And 2 new adversary modes, Trading Places and Power Play. Power Play being a major one. One of the more popular ones. This had all the special pickups, special features to pick up on the minimap. You could turn into the beast on this game mode. It was so much fun. I played this, I think, more than any other adversary mode made in GTA Online, just because of how much fun it was, and it paid amazing. When you got full sessions, people would usually stick to this one. You had strategies, you had some of the best strategies, finding locations to stand at, to kill more people. It is an amazing adversary mode. I really think they should bring this back, make it triple money. People would love it. But that's what I'm saying about these adversary modes back then. They were so much fun, especially with the full session. Oh yeah, and in free mode, it also added 3 new missions: Headhunter, Air Freight, and Haulage. Headhunter being one of the best ones. Takes only 3 minutes in a helicopter, and it pays $30,000. Really good. I still do this to this day. I always add it on top of every other single money-making method I use in free mode. Always add up Headhunter in between some of the missions, you know? So yeah, this DLC, one of the best of all time. One of the biggest, still, to this day, of all time in GTA Online. And really, it wouldn't even have lasted this long if it wasn't for this DLC. Bringing life to businesses. This is what every other DLC after this would be based off of a business. The next update, Cunning Stunts, released July 12th, 2016. 2016. This update was massive. We always wanted a racing style DLC, and they gave us it, the Cunning Stunts DLC. But also, they gave us some of the craziest races ever. Also, kind of rage-inducing races as well. A back-to-back biggest DLCs ever. The last update, this update even bigger than that, and more popular than that too. And even still to this day, these Cunning Stunt races are so much fun, it cannot get repetitive. I never get sick of playing them. And you still find pretty full sessions usually. So on day 1, we got 11 stunt races, and in total we get 27 new stunt races throughout the whole DLC and drip-fed content. We got 15 new vehicles in total, 10 on day 1 and 5 in drip-fed content. Over 150 clothing items and 28 outfits and 50 tattoos. And that added the stunt race creator on August 2nd, 2016. Now let's go back up to the vehicles. These vehicles, stunt related, but also very good looking and competitive. Now I did mention this in another video, but Rockstar actually nerfed some of these later on down the line, only like a month or so later. But at launch, there were some of the best vehicles in the game. The Tyrus, ETR1, RE7B, top 3 of the supercar category. The RE7B, even after the nerf, it was still like 3rd, 2nd in the class, so that just shows how actually overpowered that was when it was released. But the ETR1 moved from 2nd to 5th, 6th even. So yeah, I don't know why they decided to nerf these. These were so much fun to use. They were insanely fast, so that's probably why they didn't think they could make cars that much faster, even though they would down the line. It's just W nowadays, but they were so good. Let's take a look at what Bruffy1322 said when these were released in 2016. The top 3 at the time.
First up is the Tyrus in 3rd place. This gets a lap time of 59.3 seconds. Now that is astonishing. Basically, to put that into perspective, the quickest car before this update was the X80 Proto, and that lap time was 1 minute 1.2 seconds. So in 2nd place we've got the ETR1. This gets a lap time of 59.1 seconds, so that's only 0.2 of a second quicker than the Tyrus. So really they're very well balanced, those two. If you have any vehicle in the supercars class now that isn't one of these 3, you are going to be way off the pace. So the ETR1 is in 2nd, the Tyrus is in 3rd, so that means in 1st place we have the RE7B. Now what kind of lap time does this get? Well, it's a 57.7 seconds. Keep an eye on this lap, because if you blink you might miss it. That's how quick it is.
Yeah, so insane vehicles. With those vehicles we also got the Grotti Brioso, the Trophy Rally, the BF400, Obey Omnibus, one of my favorite vehicles of all time. The Desert Raid Trophy Truck, Western Gargoyle, the Drift Tampa, the Ocelot Lynx, the Western Cliffhanger Bike, the MTL Dune, and the Vapid Contender, which is also a vehicle in GTA 6. And we got 4 new variants of the Stalin, Buffalo Gauntlet, and Dominator. The Dominator moving up to the first best muscle car vehicle, just the variant alone. It was the same Dominator vehicle, but it was the Dominator race car. So yeah, the vehicle is so good. And we had weekly events all the way until September 30th, 2016. And they did add the new adversary mode Entourage in the drip-fed content as well. Very good adversary mode there too. But yeah, the main thing for this DLC for me was not only the stunt races, obviously those were insane, so much fun, but now custom races are more creative than ever. Bruffy1322's racing crew that I was in back in the day, you now have more stunts, more props to make it more realistic, more streamlined, better looking tracks. Even just normal tracks on road, you now can make them even 10 times better with this DLC. This DLC brought a whole new life to racing. It's always what people wanted too. We were always creating custom stunt races even before this DLC. So for Rockstar to basically create their own DLC, make it bigger and better than what we were even expecting, is just amazing to see. The next DLC would be on October 4th, 2016 with the Bikers DLC. This is kind of like a spin-off of the CEO organization, but turned into bikers. You can now buy a biker clubhouse. This has contact missions inside the clubhouse, but also biker businesses. You got the weed farm, more grindy style of businesses with this one especially. Not even better paying than the Finance and Felony DLC. It didn't pay that much better. Obviously, the most of the vehicles in this DLC being biker themed. You got the Arverus, the Manchez, Chimera, Street Blazer, the Fagio modded version, the Sport version, the Defiler, the Hokuchu Drag. This one being most notable because this was at the top of its class for a few years, being one of the fastest bikes you could lean forward on. The Western Nightblade, Rat Bike, Wolfsbane, Zombie, Bobber, Zombie Chopper. Some drip-fed vehicles is the Raptor, the Western Daemon, the Pegassi Vortex, which is an electric bike, the Sanctious for the Halloween DLC, the Rat Rod, the Shataro also being very, very close to the Kuchu Drag, the Eski, and the Yoga Classic. And we actually got 7 new weapons. We got the Pool Q, Pipe Bomb, Mini SMG, Compact Grenade Launcher, Sweeper Shotgun, Pipe Wrench, and Battle Axe. 380 clothing items, 10 outfits, 8 masks, 8 hairstyles, and 61 tattoos. All the businesses in this DLC still living up currently. Still very good businesses to make money with. The contact missions have kind of been lost here. No one really plays those anymore, but they do make pretty good money, so I'm surprised not many people play those. Probably because you have to have more than one person in your organization. Man, this one was very fun, especially if you had a crew of friends. I have so many memories with this DLC. The final update of 2016, and by far the biggest one, Import Export. This is Grand Theft Auto put into Grand Theft Auto. Running around, stealing vehicles, making big money. Also, the biggest garage that we had at the time, the Maze Bank Tower Garage. So this one is off the back of Further Adventures Finance and Felony, using the same CEO organization, even the same CEO towers. Now you had a new menu on the in-game computer to steal and export high-end vehicles. And vehicle warehouses have been added for the new business, which also has an underground garage for a lot of special vehicles, weaponized vehicles, vehicles with special abilities like the jump mode and the parachute, the Ruiner 2000. Yeah, that alone was insane. We never seen anything like it. And the business paid very good too. $100,000 for one of the most expensive vehicles that you could export in this DLC. The lower tier ones were at least $50,000, which you mostly did that just while getting in between high-end tier vehicles, which there was a method to only get high-end vehicles that was found only a few weeks after this DLC release. So really, I never sourced a mid-tier or low-tier vehicle after that method was found. I kept my garage the same exact way to always source high-tier vehicles. But it was fun. These involved going around stealing vehicles, certain situations. You had some races to go crash. You had obviously just run and go taking out some NPCs and stealing it. You had tracking the car down. There was a lot of variety with this. But also players chose their own variety too. You could actually use a cargo bob on this. You could go hook up the cargo bob to the vehicle under you and fly it back. And that actually gave variety because then NPCs would get in helicopters and chase after you. Or if you were smart about it, you get all the way up and then fly so the helicopter couldn't hit you from behind. It was so in-depth and so much fun. Again, GTA inside of GTA. It's such a simple concept for GTA Online, but it was so good. Let's run down some more basics of this DLC. We've got 260 clothing items, 10 outfits, 64 masks, 12 new tattoos. With this DLC, you could also change your character's face now. There are 22 new vehicles total, 7 Benny's vehicles. Benny is still a thing. 8 special vehicles, 2 mission-only vehicles, and 7 regular street vehicles. So you got the LG Retro Custom, which was in the sports category, and this was fairly closely matched with the LG. Still, for the longest time ever, was at the #1 spot in the sports car category because of how good the downforce and traction was on it. The BF Ramp Buggy was a special vehicle. The Boxville, the Rocket This vehicle, so insane. People thought you would be modding when you pulled this out and they didn't know about it. The Ruiner 2000, the Phantom Wedge, the Karen Technical Aqua, the Wastelander, the Blazer Aqua. Those are the special vehicles. We got the Ocelot Penetrator, the Pegasi Tempesta. Also a very good car before they nerfed it. The Dibbolus and the Dibbolus Custom Bike. And for the Jetfade vehicles, here, I'm gonna say the best one for last. We got the Comet Retro Custom, the FCR 1000, 1000 Custom, the Itali GTB, that was a very good one. Itali GTB Custom, Dubace Spectre, the Spectre Custom, and the Trefade Nero and the Trefade Nero Custom, the new Bugatti. It's been a long time coming since we need a new Bugatti, but here it is, the Nero Custom. Now, the Nero Custom was actually 4th in the supercar category, but felt so much faster. I think it was actually faster than most people realized, at least around track, because when I always beat everyone with the Nero Custom. I don't know what it was, X80 Protos, T20s, I beat them in the Nero Custom. So I don't remember it being 4th in the category, but apparently it was. I don't know, maybe it was just because it was so easy to drive that it was actually ended up being better because for most people because of how easy it was to drive compared to the X80, especially the RE7B being a little bit tricky to drive. But the Nero Custom, it was just so good. And come on, a new Bugatti. And with these new vehicles, you can purchase office garages. 3 floors, 60 vehicles total that you could store in them. You were balling out if you had all 3 garages in the office garage. It's still to me the best garage in the game. With this DLC, we would also get the Festive Surprise 2016 event week on December 20th, adding snow all the Festive Surprise content. And this was the event week which the Nero was released. So import-export, adding one of the best businesses, and still even to this day, I think it is one of the best businesses. You now have the public session bonus for selling a vehicle in a full session. So you get $300,000. So you get $200,000 for selling these vehicles now. Very, very good. You could do that every 20 minutes. So to me, this import-export DLC will always hold a special place in my heart for just being one of the best ones out there. Maybe it was just me because I had my crew, the peak of the crew during this update. Grinding out the businesses, grinding out bikers, finance, felony, import, export, all the businesses making tons of money. Still have most of my money today thanks to these DLCs. So classic and iconic. And that would be the last DLC for 2016. Again, the peak of GTA Online 2015-2016. After 2017, you get 4 DLCs 2017, but after 2018 it's only 2 per year. So they did end up being a little bit bigger, well, most of them. Long Dead Santos Summer special. But 2015 and 2016 is really where GTA Online peaks for me. But it would still last 9 years later for a total of 12 years before GTA 6 is released. If you guys got this far into the video, probably means to like it, so leave a like and subscribe to see what video I make next.